from the Eccentric Man, and today I thought I would go through my army for the Warlord GT, which is on the weekend of the 23rd and 24th of November. You've probably seen some of my videos of my practice games so far. I only managed to get the 2 in at the moment. I'm hoping to get another one in this morning. But this is my 750 points. You have to have a core 750 points which runs through your games. So this will fit into my 1000 points, and then it will fit into my 1250 points. So let's have a look and see what we've got on this side. On this side we've got the snipers, ghillie suited snipers, and these are from the Warlord games range. In the centre we have a second lieutenant with his wife. So he's from Footsore, I believe. They're very Civil War range, and the woman with the pistol and the teacup is from Bad Squiddo games. There's a lovely range of figures from both Footsore for this and Bad Squiddo, and a lot more World War II Bad Squiddos stuff coming out, so keep an eye out for that. They've just done a Bofors gun, which I shall be getting for Christmas, I think. To the left is the Naval Artillery Observer. Usually your British Army gets a free observer. If you look at the D-Day, I think it's the D-Day book, or one of the ones up there, you can get a Naval Observer, and he costs 55 points. However, he comes with a punch. His artillery strike is 9 inches plus D6, and it also changes the to hit and damage. It's a 4-inch template, so it's pretty big, and normally a 5 would only do pins. However, a 5 now does a near miss, and what that means is for infantry and artillery it's a 2-inch template. For a vehicle, on a 1 it's nothing happens. 2, 3, 4 is a glance, and 5 or 6 means the tank is flipped over. So obviously if you roll for a glance, you roll on the glance table and -3. For the flipped over, 5 or 6 flips it over, and it's counted as out of action and destroyed for game purposes. It also hits buildings much greater. It's a 4-inch template and +2 on the dice, so it does hit it rather hard. So that's a little bit of artillery suppression from the Naval Observer. So next up, let's stick to the left hand side. We've got our medium mortar with a spotter. So that's them. You can see the next unit is my Dad's Army section. So I've got 10 men there, and these are the Warlord game range. I've put in Mr. Hodges just to make it up, because you'll see why as we go into the bigger armies. So yeah, 10 men there. They are inexperienced green. Behind them, because I'm doing a bit of a naval theme, because obviously the Dad's Army was set on Wilmington-on-Sea, so I've got a naval unit, 8 regular men with rifles and a light machine gun. Behind them I've got a unit of a regular army with light machine gun, and the rest of them rifles. And behind that we've got one of these newfangled units introduced in 1940 after the return, well, it wasn't after return, but it utilised a number of men from the Dunkirk withdrawal, and that's the commando unit. So they are veteran, and they are armed with submachine guns. Finally, to the left is my A9 cruiser tank, and that one came from Paint and Glue. All the commandos, they were from Dixon Miniatures. All the rest are Warlord games. So yeah, Paint and Glue for my A9. So that's my 750 points. It's not too bad, I think. I think in the practice games what I've realised is that the loss of the A9 is crucial, because that is an anti-armour deterrent. It does have 3 machine guns, and I've gone for the howitzer version this time, the light howitzer. We'll see how that plays out. So let's have a look at the increase to 1,000 points. So for the additional 250 points, we are introducing a little bit more mobility, and what we have is the 25 pounder, brings in a little bit more for the anti-tank role. British 25 pounders are a light howitzer, but they're also a light anti-tank gun, so they are dual role, which is quite good. So that gives me a little bit more firepower for dealing with any armour or vehicles. So to their right is an auxiliary unit. The auxiliary units were special units set up to harass any invaders. They were chosen men from the local area, and very secret. Nobody knew who they were. And at the end of the war, they were still not recognised, and their involvement was kept secret. But they were trained in the art of assassination, sabotage, and testing out the British bases on home soil to make sure that the security was there in place, just in case there was U-boot troops delivered on the shore, or paratroopers coming in over the land. So the auxiliaries, these are, I've taken these from the irregular natives, and what that means is they can be either inexperienced or up to veteran. I've taken 6 veterans. They all have rifles, but they can forward deploy, and also in the first turn they can do a run move over difficult ground. And I have these as ghillie suited northern poachers, gamekeepers. So they know the moors and they know the woods. So that's where I've gone with those. For the vehicles behind, I've done sort of Navy theme. So we've got a Royal Navy truck, which can be used to either do the commandos or the naval section, either of those. So yeah, we've included the Navy truck, and we've gone for an old Rolls-Royce armoured car, which has been used for security purposes on the Navy base. So that's been brought out of mothballs, serviced, and ready to roll. The sad thing is, I went with the Rolls-Royce because I loved the model. Another one from Paint and Glue. It only has 1 machine gun. That's very sad. Many people's armoured cars have 2 machine guns, but this one only has the 1 machine gun. The truck is from any scales. And if you are looking to do an army on a relatively small budget, you can't go far wrong by going Warlord game plastics. 3D printed vehicles now are getting pretty good, and these two, the armoured car and the tank, are from Paint and Glue. Paint and Glue have got an amazing range of vehicles that you wouldn't ever think you would find. The 3D printing has meant that vehicles which don't sell in numbers, so the major companies, it's not profitable for them to build resin or plastic models, the 3D printer sort of fills that spot. So yeah, you can do a reasonable armies now on a small budget. So it's worth looking at. The any scale vehicle, I think that running about £10 for the truck, and I think the armoured car was about £8, and the tank was about £9 or £10. I think that was the case. So yeah, that's the army built up to 1,000 points with the introduction of the. Oh, let's move ourselves away. With the introduction, oh, bit shaky there, sorry. With the introduction of the force to the left. So let's have a look what I've done to make it up to 1250 points. So for my final points to take it up to 1250, you can see I've introduced 4 units. The reason that I've only got 4 units is that I was stuffed for my infantry because I can't increase that. I've got my 5 infantry units, so that was done. I've got my tank slot filled, I've got my armoured car filled, I've got my howitzer, my artillery piece filled. So there was 2 options. I could have gone down adding in more transports, and probably should have gone that route. I could have fitted in 2 universal carriers with their LMGs. Would have given me a little bit more armour and mobility and protection. However, it was not what I really wanted to do. I didn't want to add in universal carriers into this. Actually, just because of cost, really. I had to sort of keep my budget down a little. So I've gone for a little bit expensive unit, which is the captain and his sidekick. And I've gone for a captain, which is quite a number of points. And I've put a Boy Scout in there. Interesting, in the UK, when the war came along and the invasion was imminent and they set up the Home Guard, scouts were attached to the Home Guard platoons. It was believed that the scouts, the boys, knew all the back routes and used to get into places where other people wouldn't know about, so they attached scouts to the Home Guard platoons, also as runners as well. So I've put a little scout in there. I've put Godfrey the medic from the Home Guard unit. He's as a medic for this unit, for this army. Behind them, these are from Footsore as well. That is a medium machine gun team. And to their left is the Blacker Bombard, and that fits my anti-tank slot. It's quite expensive for anti-tank. It's around about 40 points, I think, and it's only got a 24-inch range. However, it does do +6 penetration. So yeah, swings and roundabouts with the range and the penetration. So that full man, those 4 units takes it up to 1250 points, and that's the army that I'm taking to Warlord Games. So in its entirety, I'll try and pull back to get it all in. So and there it is. So we'll see how it fares. We'll keep you updated. Well, I thought I'd give some of my thoughts on how it's fared so far. I've not got too many practice games in. Got a couple of 750 games, a couple of maybe 1,000 point game, and one 1,250. So let's have a look at the 750 games. When my A9 is still in play, I've got a deterrent, so it's okay. The opponent is a little bit wary of sending their armour forward. As soon as I lose that A9, I've got no anti-tank capability, so that is a problem at 750. So I'm going to have to be careful of that. The artillery barrage, if I can get one, dependent on scenario, is really useful for the naval bombardment. And depending on the layout of the table, the naval bombardment could be a good denial of area. So we'll see how that goes. So yeah, 750 points, perhaps a little bit lacking in anti-tank capability, but we'll see how the games at Warlord GT go. At the 1,000 points, I think it's a lot more balanced. Um, I come in with the armoured car, so although it's only got one medium machine gun, it's still a hazard to infantry. So I've got the armoured car that comes in. I've got the unit of auxiliaries that come in, which is quite useful for getting up close early on. And I've got the 25 pounder coming in, which gives me some anti-tank backup. So I've got the 25 pounder, which does light howitzer and also the light anti-tank gun. So I've got a +4 penetration coming in on the small artillery piece. So I think I'm much more happy with the 1,000 points. That does seem to work okay. On to the 1250 points. Yes, I think in hindsight, I like the idea of the captain. I like the model of the captain with the scout, but I perhaps should have gone for troop transports, particularly Bren carriers. So, should perhaps gone Bren carriers. Maybe drop the commandos to 5, maybe drop the auxiliaries to 5, so that I could fit them into 2 Bren carriers. That also would have given me a machine gun, sorry, a light machine gun on the Bren carriers as well. But I didn't think about it. I didn't really want to add in extra cost into the army, to be honest, this time around. So I went for the captain and the scout. But I did bring in the blacker bombard. As I described earlier on, it's not got such good range, but it has got a cracking 6+ penetration if it hits. It's also got the 2-inch template, which is quite good for hitting infantry. So yeah, perhaps what we're lacking a little bit in the 1250 points is a bit more firepower in vehicles. The A9's only a very light tank, but it's got some good machine gun armament. So we shall see. Anyway, we're in the open category in Warlord GT. If you see me there, I'll be wearing my black Eccentric Man t-shirt. Come and say hello. Always nice to meet people, and I may even get a game with you as the draw goes on. But anyway, thanks very much for watching. I've got another battle report coming up very soon on the practice games, so we'll see how they are. Thank you very much to everyone who's popped in for the Ko-fi fund. We're getting very close to being able to get the iPad, which is really good. So thank you very much for that, and until next time, stay subscribed, hit the notification button, invite your friends, give it a thumbs up if you do, and comment on anything gaming. So see you soon. Thanks very much.